Very nice to have them. It's been a hot topic. They're important pieces for our group. They're important to get into camp and now to fast track them into the group and fast track them into our team game and also into their own individual games. They got a little catching up to do. We'll kind of check in with them day to day. Today was the first day really with a team, but it wasn't much of a team skate. It's a good chance you'll see them in the last two games. But there's still question marks on what we're doing, that's for sure.
Travis, I know it's just preseason, but how impressed have you guys been with Mikey DiPietro so far?
Yeah, he looks sharp. Another young player that I think has progressed well. I think with goalies, they do take a little bit of time. Obviously following a COVID year, which was a hard year for everyone, but hard for him as well. Be important for him to get a lot of games in.
I know it's minutia, but how much do you concern yourself with letting the guys know about this cross-checking crackdown so if you don't see it screwed by goals early in the season like we saw in the third period?
Minutia?
Well,
no, I don't.
Like it's a small little piece, this cross-checking thing.
Yeah, we've talked about it twice already in maybe 3 of our games. Obviously, you can see that they're paying more attention to that rule. It seems like anything that gets above the pants is, you get a lot better chance of being called. You've seen some calls that, you're not used to seeing, so guys have to be aware of that for sure. Nothing is set in stone yet. We haven't seen how it looks with Petey in the lineup. We might not see, just the way it is with these guys coming in late, we might not see our whole or most of our group into the last game. And in a perfect world, I probably would have wanted to see more of our group earlier. I've seen other games where teams are kind of picking and choosing when they play their whole team, but I don't know if we're going to have the luxury of doing that. Even tonight, we got a fair amount of guys still out of lineup, and those two are major players, and with Best still being out, so it might not be to the last game, maybe in Edmonton, but we'll see. Plus, those guys are going to be a little bit rusty as well. It's no secret what guys are battling for what spot, and they've all brought something different to the table. Jack's a little bit more of a highlight reel kind of player than maybe the other two. But there's also the other side of it with Jack that we're trying to fast track him. And, that'll come at the end of the day. It's probably going to be a hard decision to make. I think they all bring a little something different to the table. But what I do know is he's a good young player. We like him a lot. We're playing him a lot for a reason. And we'll see where it ends up. It's funny, when you're a young player, you sometimes can overthink things a little bit, and I had a feeling he probably was, because his line was -2 last game, and guys take a lot of stock in that, and I like that he does, but I also felt like, it was just happened. Sometimes you're -2 and it doesn't mean you played bad. I played him in a bit of a fourth line role, wanted to see him in that role, and I thought he did some good things last game. Does he have stuff to work on? Yeah, he does. But I like him. I like him a lot. Now, when you say you like a player, that doesn't mean that he's going to get given everything all at once. But he really wants, he's a hard worker. He pays attention to detail. He wants to learn. He's strong on the puck. We're going to try to push his pace a little bit, keep him moving, get his feet moving, and these are all things that in young players there's a lot to learn. There's a difference between a guy that's played 0-10 games in the league and a guy that's played 100 and then 200. I mean, there's something to be said for the experience in the league. It's not an easy league just to step in and play, and I like him a lot as a player, and we're going to have to make a decision on him at the end of camp too. It's not the same A for every player. It's not. B, what do they need to work on? Mentally, how strong are they to maybe not play as much as they can, and the maturity level of the player. I think you really got to look at each individual and see what they need to work on, how mature they are, what they project to be long-term. And those are all things we talk about and will talk about as camp gets to the end of it to make those decisions. But with both these young guys, I think they're both excellent young players, and we're lucky to have them. And at the end of the day, we're going to see where they end up. I really don't know right now. Putting more pressure on a player isn't necessary. Let them come in and play, and let them just play and become the player they're going to be, instead of us deciding what the player is going to be before he is. So, you know, by me saying that we like them and I think they're excellent young players is, you know, it says a lot. I think, you know, that's how our organization feels, and us developing them the right way is important, and it might not always meet everyone's standards or wishes or wants. I know maybe in the past people haven't liked the way we've developed certain players or questioned it, but I think we've done a pretty good job at developing some of these young guys, and I tend to think about it from their spot too, and making sure that they're protected as well, and we want the best for them.